Welcome to the STARS program, seniors taking active roles in society. And now, here's your host, ANITA FINLEY.
I really want a general CPA. I want someone who appreciates the older adults, and so, you know, I have a very special person that's been writing articles for us, and Mark Morowitz is that special guy. So, hello, Mark.
Hi there, and a big shout out, happy Thanksgiving to all my adoring fans.
Are you cooking a turkey?
I'm eating a turkey.
Eating a turkey. Okay, well, you see, it really requires people who care about families, you know, to even care about Thanksgiving. There are people who don't. They just go out to some silly little restaurant and they don't really care about. But don't you remember the time when we all joined together at someone's home? There were 10 of us, 20 of us, and it wasn't the turkey so much. It was just being together.
That was those are great memories, and the best memories were when I had to sit at the kids' table as an adult. But those are the best times because, you know, we get to kid around with the little ones. So
right.
It's family. It's a family holiday, and everybody should be with family.
So, because you are a CPA, but you're a lot more. What made you really want, or what made you care so much about the elders that you want to help them more with taxes, but other things? All your columns have been right on.
You know what? I realized at a young age that I loved my parents. I saw the way that they interacted with their parents. There were issues, and they couldn't solve a lot of the things that their parents needed help with. And I think it probably got ingrained in my mind that someday this may be where I'm going to end up. And as my CPA practice grew, I started to have people that got older and found that their kids couldn't help them like I couldn't help my parents couldn't help their parents, and they asked me for help. And I guess I just naturally gravitated towards it. And the elderly need an advocate, and they need an advocate mostly with a good sense of humor, because there's a lot of work involved and a lot of painstaking things that go into it. So that's probably where it started, and it just continues.
And you know, being an advocate is one thing, but being a knowledgeable advocate is the key. Because a lot of questions, sure, they're going to ask you to fix their TV or their internet, but you do more than that. You see a need. You see that when you do meet a person and your clients, that papers are piling up on their table. Or if you go to get a glass of water in the refrigerator, you see things that don't look so healthy anymore. That's really what I think you're talking about, isn't it?
Yeah, it's kind of like being a son of the people that I deal with, and because they typically don't have somebody around to help them, or they don't want to ask their kids for help. So for me, it's okay. They can ask me. And you know, when I don't know if I ever mentioned this story, when I was 25 years old, I went for a job interview in Manhattan, and I remember the controller said to me, he said, you know, we have great benefits here. You know, when you're 65, you'll get a pension. And I looked at him, like, 65? So that's 40 years from now. I don't have 40 years. I'm not worried about 40 years from now. And I'm going to be 65 next month, and a young 65. I don't know where elderly starts, but I do know that 65 is older, and my kids are grown, and perhaps they'll see something in the way I treat other people who are elder, and maybe they'll feel the same way towards me. Who knows?
I think that happened because, you know, I'm 80, and I found that my family has a great influence on me because everyone took care of everybody, and we still do. I mean, my mother's no longer here, but I have lots of cousins and a lot of older people. I guess I may be the oldest of all of the family I know about now, but I don't feel the word elderly for me isn't even my vocabulary. Sure, elder, but I didn't even know about being elder. It's, I think, the spirit you carry with you. And as long as you have a clear head and you can function, it's when things start slipping by that you thank goodness I do have a son, and, you know, I do have two sons, actually, that I can ask things. But it's still not the same. We all want to remain independent as long as we can.
Without a doubt.
But sometimes that you as a CPA know better that the handwriting changes, the eyes change, things happen. And so I think what you're doing is really a great service for people, but they have to know about it, Mark.
Yeah.
So let's just say if we could invent your bio now, you have a CPA license and all that. What would your bio say now? What's the elevator speech?
Okay, so people get older. They have grandchildren. They have great grandchildren. They're getting sickly, and they think the kids think about who's going to take care of my mom. Okay, they never bought long-term care insurance, so I don't know that they can stay in the house. I can't do this. It's very difficult. We can't afford nurses. How do we prepare financially, in the event my parents have to go in a home? So there's I'll start with a gifting program, so that they can, if the parents needed services, they could gift away their money in a rational way, so that they might that. So that's kind of where it starts, okay? And I then at that point become, we draft a plan, and we make sure that it gets followed through. And at that point, what happens is people within the family, they come to me and they say, wow, we really like what you're doing, we trust you. And then it just goes into other things, and hopefully that day will never come, but the parents have provided for themselves, and it's not going to have to be provided by the kids. If there's no money, if it gets gifted away, at least they'll have Medicaid to fall back on. And that's what people want to know. Am I going to outlive my money? So that's kind of where I start. And after that, I just become part of the family.
That's right. So if you see that they're lonely, you're going to take them out to dinner, you'll take them to a movie.
You know what? I took people actually took me out to dinner one time, and I allowed that, and I thought it'd be a nice thing to do, and it was embarrassing to me. This is a funny story. I think it's a funny story. We went out to some chain restaurant, and they insisted on paying for everything, and I think the bill came to maybe $50. Okay, so the husband said to the wife, how much do you think I should leave for a tip? So the wife said, I thought the service was pretty good. I think $1 is enough. And my jaw dropped, and I almost went, almost died. And I said, no, let me get the tip. They said, no, we'll get the whole thing. So on the way out, I took a $10 bill out of my
right. I was going to say, I knew you would.
So, yeah, that's the way it goes.
I know.
But I'll do pretty much anything if I can for my clients, or find somebody that can do it within reason.
Yeah, that's a very good point. Yeah. So now tell me, why don't you pick one of your clients, for example, and just tell us how, of course not naming names, but tell us how it goes and what you have found not only to be helpful, but good for you, that you loved it because you made them feel good.
So a client had dementia, was late 80s, maybe 90 years old, living at home, had long-term care insurance, and had the assets to afford live-in help. So I would go every Thursday and pay her bills. And she had family that lived in the area, but they didn't want to deal with the financial part of it. They trusted me. I was their accountant as well, and so it was all in the family. And we had an agreement. This is what I would do for mom, and I would walk in there and I'd pay the bills. If I noticed that there were some light bulbs that were out, I'd take a walk over to the hardware store and pick up some light bulbs, and I would get. And after maybe about a month, the woman would see me come in the door, and she'd say, "Oh, the highlight of my weekend." A big smile would come to her face.
Oh,
and
wow.
That gets me.
Yeah.
Of course I paid myself, every time I was there, but I'd spend time, 10, 15 minutes paying her bills, reading the newspaper with her, She would ask me about the art on the wall, which of course she knew all about. She played the cello, I think it was. She played the cello, the piano. She would play for me every once in a while, and I would just sit there.
This is fabulous.
And I said, she smiles, and
Yes.
isn't it, whether I'm dealing with a young person just doing a tax return or preparing a financial statement or dealing with an elderly person, it's always good to see your client walk out of the office smiling. And that's what I try to do.
It does take a special person. I don't know if all men would have the sensitivity that you have to do this. Some people might, but some women don't even have it.
That's a
Actually,
curse for me. I'll tell you why.
it's a curse.
I'll tell you, it's a curse for me. In fact, my son, who just recently moved back in with me, tells me that I have too many feelings. And you know what? I said, that should be a good thing.
It
So
should be.
it's not what men do. Yeah, it is. Good men do that.
Yes.
Good men have feelings and emotions and things like that. So I cry at movies.
Good.
And I cried at what's the one I saw? Stars Born, the newest.
Oh,
Stars
wasn't?
Born.
Yeah, we all cried.
Yeah,
that was
I cried,
beautiful.
I cried.
Yeah,
and,
that was a
and
great
this time
movie.
I didn't hide it. This time I actually let it out.
Right. No, that's good. When people talk like you do, I always point back to their mother.
Interesting. My mother was probably the unemotional one in my family.
So it was your father.
My father was probably more emotional, but was afraid to show it. So, because I guess the way he was raised with his parents, and I remember one time I was in college and I came home from college for a weekend, and I was involved in a fatal accident on the road. And it wasn't me, obviously, but it shook me up quite a bit. And I had to leave my car at home for the weekend, and I came home the next week, and I remember my mother saw me in the house when I walked in, and she said, "How are you?" And I said, "What, Mom, I feel like I'm having a nervous breakdown. I just was so shaken up." And she said to me, "Well, you need to grow a thicker skin. You need to get tougher." And those words stuck with me. And I'd say it probably took me till I was 64 to realize that it's okay to be emotional and to not have a thick skin and to be who you are. So it helps me in dealing with older people, and that's probably why I gravitated towards that special thing.
Yeah, absolutely. No, I'm always attracted to people who have whether they're women or men who are very, very sensitive. Otherwise, what good is it? We do have a listener. And it's it's Lloyd Hassner. Lloyd, I don't know if he's still doing it, but he's been a big developer. And, it's on Facebook Live, and people tend to, when they see there's something live, and they go and they do this. But no matter what profession you're in, people have parents, and some of them ignore their parents, and some are, overzealous with their parents. The problem I'm going to ask you about, though, and because I have a friend right now, too many cooks are ruining the dinner, in a sense. There are too many kids. They all have different opinions. Have you run into anything like this?
All the time. You need to designate one person to handle taking care of the parent, and you can draft legal documents that will assure the siblings that they're all going to get their share. Because probably 8 out of 10 are mostly interested in the money that they're going to inherit. Okay, that 1 or 2 out of 10 kids is going to be the one that is going to take care of the parents. They're the nurturer, they're the caretaker. But that brings up its own issue, because what happens is that they tend to do a lot of the things for the parents, okay, and they want more for it down the road. So where I come in, I play referee in a lot of cases like that, and it's necessary, and I try to keep the peace within the family, because sooner or later mom or dad's going to be gone, and they're going to still be there, and there's no reason for them not to speak to one another.
Well, I just heard of a situation where it's not to do with the money, because the person doesn't, the father doesn't have a lot of money, but the 3 kids, they're fine. But they don't, and the father has now some dementia, I don't know, it must be Alzheimer's, he's not doing that well. And the kids want him 2 of them, want him put into a home where he can, really get better care. And the one daughter says, no, we're not doing that. And the three of them are fighting over their care, about the care of what they think. I don't want to do that. And yet he's in danger now because he's living at home. He has a home, has a home health aide. But so that's a new situation. So you could have a health care surrogate too, right?
Yeah. I see that all the time also. And I have very close people that are dealing with that. I don't know if it's guilt. They're maybe afraid that they didn't do all that they could. But when people get older, and you got to look at their quality of life. And I know for myself, if I was 85, 90 years old, and I was not in good health, and I couldn't walk, and I couldn't do the things that I always enjoyed, I don't know that I would want to be here. So you have to think of the person. Okay, what would be the best thing for the parent? And sometimes people say they promise they'll do this. They'll never put them in a home. They'll never put them anywhere where. But that's very difficult to do also. So you have to get past that. The people that are caretakers need therapists for themselves, emotional therapists, because it's an extremely difficult thing to do.
Right, and you did say something that was so smart. You see, it's not about them. It's about the parent or the loved one.
Right.
And too many times it's about them. You're right. They're dealing with their guilt. No. You said it succinctly. What is best for them? Now, I'm going to give your phone number out so people are listening. If you want someone with Mark's sensitivity as well as his knowledge and his professionalism, call him at 609. That's right, because you still have your number from up north, right?
Yes.
I know. 609-338-3603.
Correct.
Right? We'll do that again. Just get your pencils out. 609-338-3603. Again, 800-33...
Not 800.
I'm sorry. See, I keep doing that. I'm so... 609-338-3603. Right?
Right.
Got these.
If you have a cell phone, it doesn't cost you anything to call the number.
No, I know. It's just people aren't very sure. But that you can also go to every issue of Boomer Times, and you're missing out on some of the greatest articles. But what you can do is, let's see, and you do have your website. No, you don't have a website, do you?
It's MAROWITZCPA.com. It's going to be under construction.
Oh, because I don't have that. Right. Oh, good. So it's Marowitz, MOROWITZ, CPA.com, under construction, but at least you can call. And you can call us if you want any information. We will highly recommend him. But I think what's happened is, if you are in charge of a loved one, it could be an aunt, it could be an uncle, it could be a parent, there are people who have special needs that aren't even, older. And you need someone that you can lean on. Forget the guardianships. You see, you don't actually need this yet. You just have a good person like Mark, and he'll help you. And at the time that you do need one, he'll watch over that too. A lot of stuff going on in guardianships that are not really very nice.
That's true. And planning is the key. Planning is the key. So, when do you start? It's never too late. It's never too early to start. So a good gifting plan, a good estate plan. The estate taxes have allowed people to give away $11 million over their lifetime without taxing it. So, and by the way, the 2019 gift exemption is $15,000. It went up from $14,000. People are always asking me that question, so figured I'd throw that out now. So you can give all your grandchildren $15,000 this year and not have to report it.
Okay.
Give me $15,000.
Yeah, that's a really good idea. Okay, so let's just move on with this whole thing. You in this issue, of course, you wrote all about taxes, but coming up in your next issue, should we talk about that yet?
Sure.
Okay, why don't you talk about it? Because that was a very well written.
So I like to think about what will be entertaining, informative, and real to people that to older people that, not elder, I keep saying elder, it's older people that deal with stuff in everyday life. So I thought, what happens when the adult kids return home? Okay, and that and that could be anywhere from 60 through 90. You know, things are happening in this world today. Life is not as simple as it used to be. People are losing their jobs, they're losing their homes, and they have no place to go. So, in fact, you could probably look at a number of towns around here in South Florida where parents have been giving their kids their inheritance while they're alive, so that they could afford to live there and buy houses that are expensive and have the kids, you know, go through all the activities that they do. So when your adult child returns home for various reasons, it's something that you never prepared for. I can tell you that. And it happened to me recently. And it's, I like to say, I had a pretty good life before my son moved home. Not that it's bad now, but things change. And, you know, if you're a parent, you never want to see your child struggle. So it brings up a host of issues, and I thought, you know what, let me write about that. And I focused on the financial side of it. Obviously, it costs more to buy food every week. You know, things like paying for them to put gas in their car or you know, whatever it is that they do. And it's something I think that is going to be happening a lot more in the coming years.
I thought you were going where the emotional part was, because now it's different. You know, you can imagine a person moving back, they're appreciative, but there's also going to be the lack of self-esteem.
I hesitated to do that.
Okay, I did.
Because I you know, I wanted to focus on the maybe I'll do that next month. I don't know. You know, to open up, it's difficult for both parts, and you know, you have to. When somebody is 30 years old, they're an adult, and they're going through some hard times. You can't treat them like they were 13 in your house. They have to follow the rules. They have to do things, but you have to give them space, more space than when they were, you know, minors. So parents have to adapt. The kids have to adapt. And you know, it's not like everybody sits down and has this family dinner every night. It's not like that. It's almost like they're living in a motel. Okay?
Right, they're in and out. That's true.
You know, and you're the front desk clerk. So it takes a lot to get used to. A lot to get used to.
Put you on Saturday Night Live. That you can imagine. Saturday Night Live. That's a very good topic, isn't it?
Yeah,
My
absolutely.
son came home.
Oh, gewalt. Yeah, that's right.
Well, you know, our son didn't move out till he was 32 or 33. He was great, though. He had his, you know, position and all that. And we didn't bother him, and he came and he went, but he was very nice. We enjoyed him as being there.
Right. Most of the time when they come back, there's reasons why, because once they leave, when kids leave, they don't want to come back.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
But when they come back, they're struggling.
Right.
So there's a lot of emotion that goes back and forth, and you know, it's sometimes difficult for the parent to take. So I want people to be aware of that. If their kids, you know, nobody wants to turn their kids away.
That's true.
Okay. But you have to be supportive, but you also have to set boundaries.
Do you think that you should charge them if they move back?
If they're gainfully employed, absolutely. Yeah. Okay. Most of the time they're not gainfully employed, and there's reasons why they're not gainfully employed. So you have to kind of walk on eggshells for, you know, until you get this thing sorted out. But there's a lot of, you know, that they may not have help. Not easy.
Well, let me tell you, you have someone else listening now also. It's Seth Levy. Seth Levy's in the medical business. He has a mobile van where they take care of people. They go to something you should know about also. You know, that's really important. So I have to hook the two of you up. Well, it is. And now we have a lot of families that are intertwined. It's not the same children. It's, you know, so you're having different problems. But then I think back about a big house with enough rooms, and you could have grandma and grandpa. You could have the kids, and you have yourself, and we don't have that anymore, do we? That's what it used to be.
In Japan.
Oh, Japan.
Japan does that. They revere their elders, and when the elders get too old to care for themselves, they move in with the kids and the grandchildren.
And so it's a custom, isn't it?
It's a custom.
I like that custom, actually. Yeah. I don't have a problem, but you do have to have separate quarters. I think that's the key. You can't be. We all used to live sometimes in a 2-bedroom with one bathroom and a lot of people, but that's not the way it is anymore.
Because people didn't set boundaries. People, you know, when mom moves back in with daughter, mom thinks daughter is still 2 years old, and mom wants to exert her influence, and daughter is a grown woman, doesn't want mom to exert her influence, and that's where the heads butt, and that's where things go awry.
So now they call you, and Mark Morowitz comes in, and we're running out of time. But Mark, that's what makes you so good. So this time we're gonna get the phone number right. It's 609-338-3603.
Correct.
Call Mark, and I think he probably can solve something that you have no idea about. Just, he'll come in, he'll consult with you. Even if you see him for a couple of times and you can change your life, it's worth it.
Absolutely. I'm available for weddings and bar mitzvahs. I do my comedy routine.
And he's very sweet and he's very smart. So we're so lucky to have you with us, Mark.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Happy Thanksgiving.